The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Rise and shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary.
And welcome. We are now live on a very special bonus episode of the Wicked Horror Show. And with us tonight, we have Kevin.
What's going on, everybody?
Tony.
What is going on, people?
And I'll switch it up since this is all Kevin here, who got our awesome guest.
All day.
You want to introduce our awesome guest?
Sure. I'd like to welcome back a friend of the show. We've had him on a while ago for Silent Retreat. Director, writer, producer, everything. Ace Jordan. Welcome back, guy.
Hello, everyone.
And we have you coming on for something very cool. Leo and I are big paranormal fans, and I know, like back in the day when we talked to you about Silent Retreat, you had mentioned that you did like a YouTube thing called Creepy AF, but now that's carrying over to Amazon Prime, and the first episode of that is now available if you have Prime. Do you want to talk a little bit about Creepy AF?
Sure. Creepy AF started in 2017, and it was a very broad thing. It was strictly on YouTube. We had we did a couple paranormal investigations. We covered horror and haunt conventions, and then we mostly did haunted house videos, like walkthrough videos and kind of highlight videos of some of the best local haunted houses. And now in 2020, we've done a spin-off series that's focusing strictly on the paranormal. And we're going to do a 6-episode season. We had the first episode called the Kellogg House, which is a Victorian mansion from the 1890s that's been preserved by the OC Heritage Museum in Santa Ana, California. And we did a pretty elaborate episode where we went in there and investigated multiple places in the house where the museum staff had alleged that some paranormal encounters took place.
Nice. And it's this is the first episode. How many did you say that you have planned?
We'd like to do 6 per season.
Okay.
And possibly like a 7th, like Halloween special, which might be like a clip show or something.
That's one thing that I miss. I miss that for sure, because a lot of the paranormal shows used to do a Halloween special, and they just don't anymore. So
I'm thinking maybe we could do like a clip show where we take the best moments of that particular season and mix it with some new material and create like a Halloween special. But it really just depends on what we're able to do.
Right. Because things are kind of slowed down right now because of the whole COVID thing, right?
Yeah, it's been very difficult to shoot. Part of the reason I did the show was just kind of out of boredom, not being able to do anything during the lockdowns. And luckily we found a local museum, and we timed it just right. It was kind of like, but in between like lockdowns, it's like, oh, we're just reopening. And then we filmed it, and then, I don't know, a week later, they kind of closed everything down again. So we just were very lucky to get it all shot. Mm-hmm. And then we didn't get the rest of the season. We have 2 episodes that are in pre-production right now that are kind of on hold. And I decided, like, well, Halloween's coming up. Let's at least release our Halloween special episode. And this episode is going to be a little bit longer than our future episodes. So it was like, let's just do an extended Halloween special and release it a week before Halloween.
Nice. And now, is this? I mean, I some of the people that because I've watched some of the YouTube videos as well, and there's been some people that I've seen on that YouTube show that are on this episode. Is it the same like paranormal group? Like, is it a group that you're part of?
We have using some of the same people, but it's really not set in stone. Our next episode is going to use somebody. Well, we're scheduled to use somebody who was on the show in the past. But we're kind of open to, depending on the location and what state it's in, we might be working with different paranormal teams. It just depends on the needs of the episode.
Yeah. I was actually going to ask that. I was going to, if the plan was to like maybe travel and hit up different areas, or if you're going to keep it mostly in California. So that's interesting. I mean,
we have 2 episodes in development that would be in other states. But
nice.
for right now, we're doing another one locally. It's in the San Bernardino Mountains, and then we've been talking to the Winchester Mansion up in San Jose. We're trying to work that out with them. They're kind of giving us limited access because of COVID, and there's specific places on the property that I want to film and investigate, and until we can kind of get access to those rooms where those encounters happen, it's kind of on hold for the moment.
Yeah.
Now, we do have the trailer for the first episode, and I know we have a hard out, so we'll try to make sure we get everything in. So Creepy AF is available on Amazon Prime right now. If you check the links down below or up above, depending on where you're watching or listening to us, you have a link to the first episode right there, and as long as you have Amazon Prime, it's free. And here's the trailer.
I personally have had several encounters. The Kellogg House is the most active. We've had several strange instances, anything from seeing a shadow figure to strange technology happenings, as well as students on field trips seeing other children that aren't here.
I have had a few paranormal encounters. As I was checking the final room, there was a shadow that just kind of whooshed along the walls. It moved very quickly. It was very startling, and it kind of landed me when I watched it onto Mr. Kellogg's portrait. I immediately thought something weird was going on and walked out of the house. I just went and sat down in front of the fountain and refused to go back in.
Through the investigation, my number one goal with doing this is to verify if there is actually someone here with us.
Who's here with us? What spirit? And I said Helen. Again. I put it on the little girl right there, and it's going off. That is pretty crazy. Whoa! That was so weird. I've never heard that, and I use this quite a bit.
And again, links in the show notes down below or up above, and you can watch it right now. Check it out, and then at least you get the first episode in, favorite, and then as new ones come out, it should pop up on your feed.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we haven't heard from Tony. Tony, are you a fan of these kind of shows? We haven't really talked about it too much.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind watching them. I wouldn't. I'm not as into it as you guys are. Not into watching them, but just into the whole actually going out and doing it. I've never attempted, but I don't know if it's my fear of something actually being there that I don't watch it as much. But like Ghost Hunters or something, if I watch one episode and they have like a little marathon, I'll sit there and watch all of them. But I'm not going out to actually watch them. Mm-hmm. But this one, I must say, with different technology and checking it out and the stuff that they had, I was like, okay, this one's definitely different than other ones I've seen where it's like, you just have the cameras and stuff like that. This one had a little bit different. So when I was watching it, I'm like, okay, this piqued my interest a little bit. It was different. So it piqued my interest a little bit more.
So yeah, I mean, there is different technology that comes in and out all the time in paranormal. I'm sure, yeah, Ace, obviously, and the only thing is that it's like the skeptics will jump all over that, but at the same time, too, you can't prove that it's not working. It's all a tool, right? So I was actually happy that he took the spirit box that was in the iPad, and then he went to an analog spirit box, because it's the technology is too much, and what it is with me is like I would have to use it myself to really figure out, like, okay, am I buying this or not? I mean, it's really tough, because I've actually gone and I've had a booth at a paranormal convention, because I was part of a group for a long time, and literally people just stop at your booth, look at what you have, and then try to explain it away. I'm like, can we all just, we're all here because we're interested in it. Like, let's not just poop on everyone's parade, So, I mean, it's tough, but at the same time too, with the paranormal shows, I respect the fact that you're trying to do a little different, because as much as I love ghost hunters and stuff like that, it is kind of all the same stuff all the time,
Also, a lot of new. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
What we're trying to do that's different is we're shooting everything live with 3 or 4 cameras, and we just present the evidence that we find and our interpretations of what we collect at the time. Mm-hmm. I'm not necessarily trying to convince anyone one way or another. Just like, look, we're here. This is what we found.
Yep.
And this is what we think it is. So if the audience watches it and they think it's something different, that's totally acceptable. I mean, we're trying to take a scientific but fun approach. Like, right. We're taking it seriously enough that we're using professional equipment and collecting evidence, but at the same time, we're not like Ghost Adventures. We're not taking this insanely seriously. We do try to have a good time while we're there, and just what we get is what we get, which makes it very difficult to make this show because there is no script.
Right.
And if we don't get anything, then it's very hard to make the show entertaining. So.
Right. Well, and that's the thing is, I'm sorry, Leo. I don't know if I'm stepping on your toes here, but
it's okay.
Earlier, like when the paranormal shows first came out,
mm-hmm.
there was definitely more of that. More mm-hmm. of, if you watched Ghost Hunters the first season, 50% of the shows, if not more, they get nothing. And and when they did get something, I was like, wow, that's something. That's weird. Like, what is it?
That's realistic though. When you do go out and do a real paranormal investigation, sometimes you don't get anything at all.
Most of the time, you get nothing at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done a bunch, and a majority of times you get nothing. The only thing is you're having fun, and whatever. If you do get something, most of the time you don't realize it until well after the fact, until you're actually reviewing stuff. And
one thing you get to see in the show is us collecting a lot of nothing. There's kind of dead periods where we get something that might be evidence, like an EVP, for example, and then we're kind of waiting, and nothing else seems to be coming in, and we're not necessarily forcing it, and we're just hoping we can capture something.
Right. And it always, at least from my experience, it's a lot of times when things happen, you don't have a camera rolling. Like, I've had many instances where I've gone and, like, me and my wife, and when we were part of the group, we would plan vacations around haunted locations, and we would go and spend days at these places, and stuff would be happening, and of course we're all experiencing it, but no one's got a camera because we're just whatever. Like,
that's part of the reason we have 4 cameras, is like to try to make sure that we do capture anything. We got, I think, 4 cameras and 3 microphones running at the same time.
Yeah.
And I for Halloween, I invited a bunch of not a bunch, but some friends and people, mostly people that worked on the show over. I have like a projection screen, and we watched the episode. Some of them hadn't seen it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And they said in one scene, it was the REM pod scene where they cut back to the REM pod and they say, we didn't get anything. Now, there's supposedly in that shot, there is an EVP of somebody saying, I think, shut up. And nobody said that when we were there. So I have no idea where that came from. Somebody noticed it when we were watching it. And I kind of noticed it when I was editing it, but I thought it was just one of the guys that was kind of talking under their breath or something, and I couldn't. I was like, oh man, I wish I could edit that out. And it turns out he's like, no, I didn't say that.
Oh wow.
So that was really
Again,
weird.
I'll have to watch it a third time because I have to look for that.
So it's like there might be stuff in there that even I haven't found.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I cut Leo off like 20 minutes ago. I apologize.
Yeah, no, that's okay. One of the things that I enjoyed was like the reactions. They were realistic. One thing that's really off-putting with a lot of new paranormal shows now is like there's a creak and all of a sudden everybody's screaming and freaking out. And
you mentioned Ghost Adventures. Like everything's possessed in that show. It drives me crazy.
Well, even the new ones on Travel Channel. I forgot.
Everything's a demon, right?
Yep.
Yeah, everything's a demon, and as soon as like something's going off, they start talking over it. It's like, shut up, capture the evidence, and talk about it afterwards. Not like, are you hearing this? It's going on right now, and you can't hear it because we're talking and all that shit.
Right.
Yeah. I can't remember if it was actually in the show or if it got cut out, but we did extensive interviews. They were hours long, and you only get to see a little bit of it. One of the witnesses did say that they didn't believe that the ghost in the house was evil, but it still kind of gave them a little bit of an ominous feeling. So I feel like they really gave an honest opinion of what they were experiencing. And I actually interviewed them prior to doing the episode and found them remarkably credible in their stories and the detail of their experience and when it happened and where. And it was just like they were very good witnesses. And I believed every word they said. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is people, if they generally feel like they had an experience, you can almost tell, as opposed to someone who's just like trying to, I'm just going to feed this guy a line of crap. Like people, like the way they react and everything, you can tell. Like, I haven't met an actor that good to really sell that,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like Leo was saying, like it's that even the reactions of the investigators seem very genuine. Where I hate to say it, but besides Ghost Adventures, there's other ones where they're right away saying like this is actual evidence right here. Like they don't do like other shows will do the research and explain what's what, and I don't know. It's all. I mean, there's a lot of skeptics out there. I believe in it, and I'm still skeptical at a lot of stuff, just because I've seen a lot of people like really try to push some stuff that's just not legit, and it's giving things a bad name. And at the same time, too, I'm like, if I see something that I think is legit, and you can tell me how it's not, please tell me, because I want to know where I went wrong and what to look for the next time.
I mean, we're aiming for an audience of people who not only like ghost shows, but kind of take it seriously enough to know that we're doing a legitimate investigation.
Mm-hmm.
There's no parlor tricks or anything like that. If something happens, I mean, whatever you see in the show, I can't really explain. Right. It just that happened and we showed it, and you get to see their reaction at the moment to it. And whatever they feel that was, they tell you. Now they might be wrong, but at least it's genuine, it's authentic, and for someone watching who's never been on a paranormal investigation, lets them feel like what it's actually like.
Right.
Because it's not like what's presented on most like Travel Channel shows and things like that.
Because what they don't tell you is that they're there for a week. Like they're there for a good amount of time, and that's the best stuff they got throughout a week right there. So it's
so for the people just joining us, we got a bunch of people watching right now. We are talking about a new show, Creepy AF, which is available on Amazon Prime. So if you have Amazon Prime, you can watch it for free. There's a link in the show notes down below or up above. And we have a short trailer. I'm going to play it for everybody just joining us now.
I personally have had several encounters. The Kellogg House is the most active. We've had several strange instances, anything from seeing a shadow figure to strange technology happenings, as well as students on field trips seeing other children that aren't here.
I have had a few paranormal encounters. As I was checking the final room, there was a shadow that just kind of whooshed along the wall. It moved very quickly. It was very startling, and it kind of landed me when I watched it onto Mr. Kellogg's portrait. I immediately thought something weird was going on and walked out of the house. I just went and sat down in front of the fountain and refused to go back in.
Through the investigation, my number one goal with doing this is to verify if there is actually someone here with us.
Who's here with us? What spirit? I thought he said Helen. Again.
I put it on the little girl right there, and it's going off. That is pretty crazy.
Whoa. That was so weird. I've never heard that, and I use this quite a bit.
And again, that's Creepy AF, and links in the show notes down below or up above. Amazon Prime.
Yes, good stuff. Just because I know we have to cut in a little bit, but do you have any like dream locations that you want to take the show to, like, if possible? Like, is there anything on like a bucket list for location?
Yeah, definitely. Well, the plague mask, which is kind of like our mascot. Mm-hmm. That originated from Erik, one of the main investigators. He went on a trip to Vanlier Island in Italy, which is considered by some to be the most haunted place in the world because that's where they put 600,000 infected plague patients. And there's supposedly 600,000 people that died there. He investigated it one time. There's footage of it. I've seen the footage, and in the background, I saw something really strange. I don't think he even saw it. I don't know whatever happened to that footage. I think he's lost it. So probably my number one goal would be to go back there and be able to investigate what's potentially the most haunted place in the world.
That'd be pretty great.
There's lots of places. Like I went to the catacombs in Paris. That would be a cool place. Maybe like Bran Castle, Castle Dracula in Romania. What is it? The Stanley Hotel. I've never been there. That would be cool.
Yes, no, it's the one that they based the Shine, they based the
Yeah, The Shining was based off. We're planning to. I have one episode in the works. It's not set in stone yet, but I'd like to go to Savannah. They have Savannah, Georgia. They have a lot of paranormal activity there. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot.
Yeah. There's about St. Augustine, Florida is like the oldest settled town in America, and it's a good time. I've gone and spent the night at the prison there and everything. It's a good time. But yeah, that's in Florida, but that's a little
St. Augustine.
Yeah, St. Augustine. Yeah. And then also, I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. Massachusetts, it's got a lot of history.
Yeah,
there's a lot.
So, how far are you from Salem?
Not that far. I've never gone.
I've
never gone. I've gone for work. I've never gone there to hang out in Salem though. But it's maybe like an hour away.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's not that bad. But one of these days, when Halloween starts happening again, I'm gonna have to do it next time. Okay. Just so I can visit the Hubie Halloween, whatever it's called. Let's go.
Yeah, I saw that. Was that actually filmed in Salem?
Yeah.
Okay, for sure. Because I've never been there, so it might have just said, could have been in LA and we filmed it.
No. It was all in Salem. Okay. And actually, one of the local news girls lost her job because she was part of it.
Yeah, I heard about that. That was great.
It's dumb. But anyways, sorry. Totally off subject.
I think one of the other news girls was an actor, right? I think Adam Sandler's wife was one of the other news girls.
Yeah. That sounds right. But yeah, so any speculation on when the next episode may be doable?
I'm hoping to film it this month. My problem is I have a really cool thing in the works for the next episode, and it's a case that I don't think people know much about. It's a crime that's supposedly the evidence has been buried, so it's been very difficult to kind of dig up people that know much about it. So I'm in the process of trying to find witnesses who can corroborate what happened. But it could be like a new urban legend, a new myth. It's on like Reddit, it's on TikTok. A lot of people are talking about it, and I'll reveal it when I have a trailer and we have something shot. I'm also ordering some new equipment. We have like a drone and some new cameras and stuff that we want to try.
Nice.
We're going to try out some new ghost equipment stuff too. We have a full spectrum, what do you call them? Night vision cameras, so we can do stuff in the blackout in the dark.
The fear cameras, like the ones that are like the ones that the multiple color ones, or just the night vision ones.
It's full spectrum night vision, which kind of has that like purple look to it, and it's supposed to be like beyond night vision, so you can get light spectrum stuff that's like beyond what a night vision camera can do.
Nice. Now, have you ever just because I had experiences with it and one of the investigations we did, but dowsing rods? Have you ever used dowsing rods?
I did on one investigation that we didn't film. It was the Brackenfern Mansion up in Lake Arrowhead, which they did a Ghost Adventures episode of. I don't recall really getting anything. You know what? I didn't actually do it. I was just with people that were doing it. So, I don't know. I was at the Iron Island Museum in Buffalo, and we used it, and it was pretty ridiculous. Like legit, like we did it, and we asked it to point out the people in the room by name. Like we said, okay, where's Kristen? And they literally would turn and point at my wife, and then be like, all right, where's Mark? And it would go, and it would turn and point at Mark. It was crazy. Then the guy's like, ask it for a hug. And I'm like, all right, can I have a hug? And it crossed, like the rods crossed and touched both my shoulders. We did one with this, I forget the name of it, but there's a teddy bear that has like this ghost detector thing inside. And we were talking to this ghost child and asked it to hug the bear, and then it went off, like the alarms went off like crazy. So we think the a little child ghost actually hugged the bear.
And the thing that's crazy, and this is like going towards someone like Tony, who's like, you kind of freaked out by it. When you're in it, when you're in the situation, it's not creepy. It's not like, it's extremely interesting. Like we were in the when I was in the prison in St. Augustine, like we're having flashlights, like asking particular things. Okay, if this happened, whatever, turn the light on for this, and it was working. Because these other people that were there that were freaking out, like they were absolutely panicked. I'm like, you're fine. Like none of us are getting hurt. You're fine. Like don't worry about it. Just sit there and just like watch it. Because if anything, it was more like, okay, these people had zero experience with that, and they're seeing it happen. Like this is sitting on a windowsill across the room. I'm asking it to turn itself on, and it does.
Yeah, people have very different reactions to it. Some are very scared. I tend to be more of, it's exciting to experience something like that, because it doesn't happen very often, even if you investigate a lot. So, I just go with it, and I think we're going to kind of do more and more extreme things on the show.
Yeah. That's awesome, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what else comes around. But like you said, the stories I have are I always tell the same stories, because those are the only things that have ever happened. Like for as many as I've done, there's so many that like nothing has happened. We've rented out like the Houghton Mansion for like a weekend, and zero things have happened. It's like, all right, great, we rented out this whole place to have to ourselves. It's a big Masonic lodge and all these other things, and nothing.
Well, it's frustrating, because I did a investigation. They mentioned in the show that I did an investigation there in 2016 with some of the same ghost hunters, and we had stuff that happened there, but we don't have any footage of it.
Yeah. And it's not like a light switch. It's not, you're not going to be able to just be like, all right, do this, and it's going to happen. Sometimes it does.
Yeah. And one of the investigators claimed to see the woman in white that they talk about on the show. I mean, I didn't see it. I didn't see any ghosts that night, but I mean, I wish we could have got that on camera. That would have been awesome.
That would have been awesome.
I know we got a heart out. Just backing up real quick to dowsing rods. This is actually kind of interesting. My father used dowsing rods.
Yeah, to find wells. All right, you find water.
Yeah, it's we had our old well dried up, and we were on an old farm, and he needed to find a new place to drill, and he was out there with a dowsing
Yeah.
rod, found a spot.
Yeah, they're a thing. They've been around for like ever. Like we weren't looking for water. We were literally like in a place that was a church and now is a museum.
Yeah,
and we were standing in the middle of this room, and whoever it was working with multiple of us. It wasn't just me. It was I also worked with Mark. I worked with my wife. Like, it just worked. It was weird, and we since then we never got anything. It was just that one time. Yeah,
I mean, we plan to experiment with different tools, like anything we can use. But if we use a particular tool and it doesn't, like the REM pod in the parlor scene, we set that up and waited and waited and waited. Nothing ever happened. So
right.
I mean, the first part of the show, or first part of the investigation, it was like, oh, we set something up and absolutely nothing happened. So I think that kind of set the tone for the show to show you that we're not fooling around with you. We're trying to collect evidence, and this particular time, nothing popped up, unfortunately. So.
I'm being yelled at by someone that is waiting for me, and I do want to point out that he also told me to tell you happy birthday, and he's apologizing that he didn't say it to you earlier.
Oh,
like, make sure you tell him that. I'm like, all right, I will.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mike Spada. I told him.
So we'll wrap things up here because I know Kevin has to go. I want to thank you all for watching. Creepy AF is out on Amazon Prime right now. Link in the show notes down below or up above. If you have Amazon Prime, you can watch it for free. So, definitely check it out. And Ace, where do you like people interacting with you on social media?
Oh, you know what? My handle is Ace Jordan Film at Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It's all the same. And I'm also on Horrormino. And I have a YouTube channel called StarkoTube. That's STARK0TUBE.
Okay. Tony.
You can find me at Tony Has Nine Fingers on YouTube, where I do movie reviews or unboxings. Anything movie related will be on my YouTube. Tony Has Nine Fingers on Twitter, which I hardly ever use. Tony's Movies on Instagram, where I show off the movies behind me. And most Tuesdays and sometimes Thursdays on the Wicked Horror Show. Kevin?
I'm going to murder these guys. You can find me here every Tuesday night. And also the special occasions like this one. I'm also doing reviews with the 13th Wolfman on the audio side. And also part of Secret Underground Hideouts, unfortunately, because that's where I'm going next. And Black and White Fright, all the way on the network. Leo?
And for me, just Google Leo Pond. You find a bunch of stuff. Could be true, could be not. I'm not going to say which is which, but more importantly, check out Creepy AF. Follow our awesome host and head on over to thedorkening.com, which you can find all the shows on network. 30 shows, which is absolutely insane. You can find them wherever podcasts are found. So we'll leave it with William saying fart. We'll catch you guys later.
Yeah, way to go.
Yeah, bye.
All right. Good night, everybody.